Story time. Story time. Story time. Story time. We're here to tell you stories.
Welcome back to Story Time, the series program where I or Maxwell tell you a story, and it either deals with a moral, value, lesson, or just it's a story. You just hear nice stories. You guys like nice stories, right? So this episode is about loyalty, and it's about how I was under the impression that since I was loyal to somebody, that they would be loyal to me, and that wasn't the case at all. All right, so my last job, I worked for a company where I and somebody else was another African descended individual. I was happy because usually in my profession, by trade, I'm an electrician, and I don't get to see, at least in the upper Midwest, I don't get to see a lot of other African electricians. So it was awesome the first time that we met. In that first week that I had started working, I went on a ride along with him. We had finished, well, he had done a job and I shadowed. On the way back to the office, he was on his phone. He was texting on his phone, and the curb that was separated one side of traffic from the other side of traffic, he hit. I believe that he was going at least 40 miles an hour, and he hit the curb, and he hit it in such a way that not only did it make the car go airborne for a moment of time, but also the rim bent. Yes, he was going that fast, and he hit the curb that hard that the rim had bent. So in the work vehicles, there's cameras. For those that have work vehicles, you know that there's cameras, and whenever there's an accident that happens from a vehicle, automatically the record starts happening. So he thought to himself that it would be a good idea to try to get out of this. I don't know if that he was under the impression that he was going to get terminated from the job. I'm not sure. Again, this is my third day, and this is my first time with him. So immediately, he starts to proceed to tell me, okay, hey, this is the alibi. Basically, this is the story that we're going to tell the supervisor. This is my third day working. I don't know him from anywhere. Again, he's just another African descended individual just like myself. And I'm thinking, okay, man, I'm gonna have to lie. I'm gonna have to lie. And which way do I go? So I ended up just going with his lie. So the following few days, the supervisor gets my story, gets his story on what had taken place. I can't remember exactly on what I had heard that he told the supervisor, but it wasn't him texting and the reason on why he hit the curb. I think he stated that he had he forgot his, or he had dropped his reading glasses, and that's what made him hit the curb, if I can remember correctly. I remember the supervisor was suspicious because the supervisor asked me twice on what happened. So I could tell that the supervisor wasn't buying my alibi. But nonetheless, the supervisor said that they'll review the camera and they'll go from there. Nothing ended up taking place as far as them finding out that, well, at least to my knowledge, they didn't find out that our alibi wasn't correct. So fast forward, I think maybe a month and a half later, I had moved to a new apartment, and with moving comes the change of location for your internet. I live alone, and so the internet installation, they needed to get into my unit, and I wasn't home. I was at work, and I was working with this other individual. Let's just call this other individual Okello. So I'm working with Okello, and this time we have two separate vans, two separate work trucks. I let Okello know, hey, the internet serviceman is at my building, but they need access inside. Could you go ahead and just cover for me? I believe that we were working 15 minutes away, so I told him, hey, it's going to be about a 30-minute trip. And do you know what Okello tells me? He goes, I'm not going to cover for you, bro. And I thought he was joking, so I was like, okay, yeah. And he's not smiling, and he's like, I'm not going to cover for you, man. I'm not going to risk my job for you. Man, yeah. It really set in at that moment that no matter how loyal that you are towards individuals, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't at all. Now, if you want to go ahead and do somebody a favor, you should do it because you want to do it, not because you're expecting anything in return. I had to find out that information just recently. That was last year. I'm not a under 24. I'm above 25, and so, just even thinking about this as I'm telling you guys right now, it still frustrates me that I had to come to this age to find out that information. But it's a lesson in of itself. The lesson here is that loyalty doesn't it's not something that you can buy in a store, as well as it only exists within you. I want you to hear that again. Loyalty just exists within you. So meaning that if it was something that can be purchased in the store, then that's one thing, but it can't be. So no matter how loyal you might be to a group, an individual, a company, it doesn't mean anything. It only means something to you. And however much that means to you, you shouldn't judge other people for it. Now, definitely you can hold your reservations, and you don't have to trust other people, but judging other people, that's one thing, because not everybody grew up with your morals and values. I say all that to say, I hope this message reaches you in a space where maybe, just maybe, you have somebody or a group of people in your life that you feel that they can do no wrong. Keep that in mind. This is Story Time with Ochanda. We'll see you soon.
Story time. Story time. Story time. Story time. We're here to tell you stories.